I just want to share the base for taking up this particular topic. In 2021, during the COVID period, we have faced different challenges. I think everybody must know that we are not in a physical connection with a student. One of the biggest challenge was to engage our learner effectively in our classrooms. And because our students were from the different backgrounds, as well as they are having the different learning style. Some are visual learners, some are creative, like some visual learners, some are auditory learners. And there is one strata or a segment of the students who are creative beside these learning styles. So that students were basically ignored during the COVID period. In 2021, I developed the course under the UNESCO, that is how to create or foster creativity among learners. That was on a innovative pedagogical strategies, and the responses I got was very good across the globe. So that's why that was the reason I'm focusing on this particular topic. The whole like this presentation is divided into four major components, like innovative pedagogy, innovative pedagogical strategies, what creativity is, and what innovative pedagogical strategies we are using and we can use in our classroom to foster creativity. So whenever we are saying innovative pedagogy, because we are a teacher, we are dealing with the learner who are 21st century learners. This is the digital era. So gone are the days when we are just a stale or a traditional teacher who just the reading the textbook and give the assignments. But now the role has been shifted. We are more of the facilitator. And when we talk about innovative pedagogy, it means using some innovations, something new in your classroom so that we can make our teaching learning process effective and interactive. And it is basically when we talk about innovative pedagogy, it's a carefully designed intended plan or a set of plan to provide conducive learning environment to the students. And definitely these innovative pedagogies, these are dependent or these are based on the learning theories. So there are different learning theories. And a student always look for some new and interesting learning approaches in the classroom. So these innovative pedagogical strategies help to make learning motivating, relevant, and interesting. So when we say the modern pedagogical strategies, these are those new ways which we are using in our classroom or we should use in our classroom, which can help the teacher and the facilitator to achieve the goals as well as the instructional objectives. If I talk about the innovative strategies, there are two major, we can classify the strategies into two parts, online as well as offline. There is no need of this classification. This slide was prepared just taking into consideration if the situation happens again in a near future, like the pandemic was there, how we can cope up with that situation and how we can use the different strategies which we can use with the help of digital medias. That's why some of the strategies which we can use easily by handling the digital medias, and definitely whenever we are in the classroom, we are in a physical proximity to our students, we can use a different strategies with our learners. And these are some of the strategies, these are very base strategies, like problem mapping, role playing and scenario analysis based learning, creative teaching. So this is one of the important thing, like if we want to make a learner creative thinkers, the teacher must also be a creative thinker. So mind mapping, telescoping, this is basically for gifted students, but this telescoping can also be used for the creative learners. Think aloud, because sometime there is some relationship between intelligence and creativity. I'm not saying that it's applicable to every intelligent child, but in somehow in some researches it has been found that the student who are intelligent, they are creative also. It's not applicable to 100% population. Though the most of the student, those who are creative, they exhibit some of the uh, higher capacity in their mental cognitive abilities. So think aloud is one of the good technique which we can use in the classroom. Quiz discussions, it's like the questions and the discussion mixture of both the strategies. Think, pair, share, co-authoring, co-editing, we are also using expert group method, learning detectives, independent project, and Phillips 66. These are just the basic strategies. like the general strategies which we can use for any kind of learner, not only creative. Moving ahead to creativity, uh, if I talk about creativity, it basically means to ability to produce new, novel, and valuable. So you can well relate when I talk about innovative strategies. It is also one of the thing like where the teacher role is to come up with some good ideas, some novel ideas to engage the learner. Those learner who are creative, who are having the creative abilities, and in most of the cases, the creative learners are, they are ignored by the teacher because somehow they are considered as a backbenchers because they are not comfortable in the regular classroom teaching. They need some variety, they need some innovations because the creative mind is sharpened by stimulating good education. It's not by that you are using the that old age methods, and it also need a proper care and giving opportunity to inspire. And the teacher and parents should know the importance of creative process and the ways and means of developing creativity among children. Creativity is enhanced more easily and passionately during the early years of life of pupil. So it is pertinent to mention that we should always try to foster creativity in the early stages because that was the time where the student is more curious, the student is more, he want to explore his environment. There are some innovative pedagogical strategies which is particularly related with fostering creativity among school students. So these are some, there might be some repetition from the previous slide because though we have general strategies, the innovative strategies which we are using for normal children or in a classroom, but some of the strategy could also be used or used as a supplement to foster creativity among learners. For example, we have brainstorming and brain writing. It is very effective technique which we can use in our classroom, basically when we are using collaborative learning and the cooperative learning techniques. Exploration and implementation. I think now there are variety of tools available, software available on the website, also on the digital media, where the student can explore the environment. Mind maps, cameras, games and puzzles, riddle solving, use choice board and storyboards, cultural activities, art festival, exhibition. Because sometimes there might be some question like how culture activity can help to foster the creativity. Why not? Because the cultural activity means the student is depicting their culture, and every student can depict their culture in a variety of ways. The same dance movements are there, the same, we can say the same pattern is there, but still it is the creativity of the learner to present it in a novel way. Six hat technique we have. We can also use of flow charts, promote divergent thinking and ideas, free from thinking, critical thinking and communication, online creative collaborative group project, mystery box lesson. This is really very interesting for those who are very young. This is the mystery box because it's not like the routine kind of mystery box. It's like where the student will use their active mind, creative mind to, locate the things. World Creativity and Innovation Week activities, constraint challenges, lateral thinking, online creative boost, picture association and brain sketching, potential problem analysis, circle of opportunity, progressive hurdles, Crawford slip writing, snowball technique, use creative rubrics, problem solving, flexible task, space learning, paired comparison. So because I think one class is not, one session is not enough for all the techniques, but still I just try to uh, give an idea. Moving ahead in a year 2014, there was one article, Leonard Sommer, how to foster more creativity in 21st century education, because they have come up with some conclusion that our current education system is ill prepared to educate the next generation of creative leaders. That's why they have proposed that they highlighted the fact that teachers and educational institutions must use innovative pedagogical strategies, method, and some of the techniques to foster creativity among learners. So there are many researches which talk about creativity and mainly the creativity in the early years. Now I'll be taking up some of the techniques which I'm using in my classroom effectively, and I want that. I think okay, I want that I'll be sharing. First is six thinking hat. This particular creativity technique we are also using in our classroom, but whenever we are talking about the creative learner, because they feel more motivated, because in this technique we are assigning one role to a learner. Like there is a set plot of someone script is there for them. That script is just a base for the initiation. Otherwise, we will not giving any kind of ready-made script, because it will snap their creativity. So basically, six thinking hats, it's looking at a decision in different ways. It's basically the students will investigate an issue from a variety of perspectives. It's developed by Edward de Bono. He is a psychologist and a philosopher. So six thinking hat is a way to understand and explore different types of thinking. These are some of the benefits of six hats, like more organized thinking. It improved the creativity, a better thinking skill, stronger interpersonal skill, greater inclusivity in teams. Like, for example, if we are using the six hat in a classroom, that should be corresponding to some set of style of thinking. Like we can assign the number, we can assign some colors to the hats, or hat doesn't mean we need to provide some hats. We can do that, but there could be anything we are using to label also. It's not the label the children, label the role. Like the white hat could be used for logic, the red hat could be used for the emotions, black hat for caution, the yellow hat for optimism, the green hat for creativity, the blue hat for control. So in this way, we can organize our class, or we can use this technique to foster creativity. But the teacher role is to initiate the conversation, to initiate the activity. It's not like we are just giving the topic and asking them to sign the roles. So teacher role is very important. For example, there could be one activity, is just an example. Blue hat could be given to it can be a conductor hat. Green hat, which called as the creative hat. Red hat, the hat for the heart. Black hat, the judge hat. White hat, the factual hat. Yellow hat, the optimistic hat. So likewise, you can give some hats to the students or something else which can depict the activity. The next technique is brainstorming. It is just a storming of the brain. It's like the hot discussions in a particular group. Because whenever we are engaging the learner in a brainstorming activity, definitely they will be coming up with good creative ideas, some innovative thinking would be there. Alex Osborne, he developed this technique and he has studied the way people think. Most of us evaluate our thinking immediately, much before the idea is born. So brainstorming is needed to identify and solve the complex problem. And moreover, brainstorming and brain writing. When we ask the student to write their thoughts in a it could be in a group, it could be a group activity like in a collaborative mode. It leads to more innovative ideas. So there is also reverse brainstorming. Rather than providing the direct, uh, problem to the solutions, or ask them to solve a problem, we can ask them to come up with some ideas which can lead to the failure of something. So instead of asking a group to brainstorm idea that would work for the good implementation of any project, the group brainstorm all the way that they could cause the plan to fail. So it's like the reverse brainstorming. And it's a technique that builds on our natural ability to more easily see problems than solutions. And moreover, it allows students to expand their creative thinking and consider their challenge from a completely new perspective. Gaming, because I think nowadays lot of researches are going on gamification and gaming. It is a technique where the student is learning in a playful manner. It helps the student in the development of creative trait. And gaming doesn't mean those games which create violence among the students. The gaming, like the gaming which helps the learner to come up with some good ideas, to join something, to work collaboratively. So both verbal and non-verbal material can be used in this technique. Playing game is a powerful way of facilitating creative thinking. Moving ahead, scammer. It is based on the notion that everything new is some addition or a modification of something that already exists. So we being a teacher and a teacher educator always feel that student has already inbuilt some knowledge in the, like they have some knowledge, they have some existing knowledge. The role of the teacher is to establish a link of the new knowledge with the already acquired knowledge. So scammer work like this. You take a subject and change it into something else. Here the S means substitute, C means combine, A means adapt, M is magnify, P is put to other use, E mean eliminate, R is rearrange and a reverse. So scammer we can use in the classrooms. Uh, and it's very cost effective. All these techniques are very cost effective. Riddles and puzzle solving, because I am from the Indian culture. So in Indian culture, from days of yore has had puzzle in their writings. Our grannies used to request that their grandkids tackle their riddles. Every one of the provinces of India have their own riddles in their dialects. So according to Edison's son, Charles was very fond of solving puzzles. He kept himself creatively open to many problems and ideas. Most puzzles have a clues. So Peter Pepper and others have written books on puzzles. We have Amar Lilavati is a collection of many riddles in Indian conditions. You may recall Asik Asimov page in the Illustrated Weekly of India here. So solving the riddles and puzzle is also one of the good strategy to foster creativity. Use choice board and storyboards. I think we all are using storyboards in our classroom because stories are the way to show their creative minds to come up with some good creative opinion or the views or the thoughts. Use choice board, which can allow teachers to create lesson around a specific learning goal, but offer student voice and choice in how to get it done. A storyboard is a graphic organizer basically that plan a narrative, and storyboard are a powerful way to visually present information. So, if I talk about storyboards, the following are some of the online storyboard apps: Studio Binder, Moviestorm, FrameForge, ShotPro, Power Production software. So these can be used when we are dealing student online. Uh, Definitely experimentation and implementation. If we are using the hands-on experiment or the students where they are more active, they have a good content, they are active learner, it would definitely help to develop their critical thinking. They will be motivated and use their creativity. So these are some of the ways to embrace creativity in the classroom. It's by Jonathan. Then space learning, again, like the 10 to 15-minute topic, then there is a little break, and we can start with some other topic which must be related to our previous topic, but it's like the like some entertainment or some other thing. Right, so it's not like the monotony could be break, because in the case of creative children they feel monotony very soon. So space learning help to cover this problem. Flip your classroom instruction, I think we all are using the flipped learning, where for some of the time we are flipping our instructions, like home and school projects. Peer work, peer who learn together, they feel more connected. So whenever we assign some work in a pair, the both the students who are working together, they will come up with like the common idea after brainstorming the different ideas. So we can create a homogeneous pair or a heterogeneous pair. Mind map, I think many of the students, many of the teachers, they are using the mind map. These are basically the visually organized information. And mind map is very important for those who are basically the visual learner also. Because creative learners are, they are creative in approach. So whenever we are showing the mind map to them, it will immediately capture their interest because they are creative. They always look for something new, some new information, some new associations. So this is one of the example of mind map. In mathematics, we are using mind maps. Again, the peer learning, like we have peer work. Here is the peer learning, which is a type of collaborative learning. Because I think in many cases, creativity can be fostered if the student is along with their peers. No doubt, we can also create creative spaces for them, like some particular corner who are creative, who want to do something, like at home or at schools. But when we are in a group, I think during the all conversation and the discussions, we are more creative. uh, like some of the collaborative activities which student can take up, like think, pair, share. This is one of the most favorite of mine. Think, pair, share. We have a pair, they will think together and they will share. So in this case we can make a different set of groups. In every group there will be a leader, like in any collaborative learning or a cooperative learning. They will share, they will come up with some point, they can write the point also, and one of them they can share the journalization of the discussions. Cooperative learning, we can use that. Social medias, yes, we are already using social medias. These are some of the innovative techniques like role playing, scenario analysis, teaching with sense of humor, inquiry based learning, case based, field engagement, drama as a technique. We can also create creativity spaces to unlock creativity for enhancing learning. I myself devoted one wall for my daughter where she can write anything at my home. That's her creative space. These are some of the online tools like discussion board, blogs, and wikis. Idea lottery. This is all about creativity. So we can connect through LinkedIn. This is my email. If you have any question, if you want to know more about the course which I have launched, though it has already been completed,